The day of my father's funeral was cold and gray. It somehow felt right for what turned out to be the most important day of my life. I stood in front of the mirror, fixing my simple black dress, the nicest one I owned on a research assistant's budget. I couldn't stop thinking about what my stepsister Vanessa had said at the wake the night before. "Bob, Sarah, could you at least try to dress properly? It's already embarrassing having you here." My father, David Chen, was a brilliant scientist, but to my stepmother Isabella, he was nothing but a failure. He died suddenly from a heart attack in the small lab where he had been working alone for years, ever since Isabella kicked him out of the house, saying his useless experiments were ruining the family's image. The funeral was being held at the Chen family mansion, which used to be my home when I was a child. Now, it felt like enemy territory. As I walked through the fancy gates, memories came flooding back. Dad teaching me chemistry in the kitchen, playing with baking soda and vinegar, his face lighting up when I asked questions about his work. "Well, look who decided to show up." Isabella's cold voice snapped me out of my thoughts. She stood at the top of the marble stairs in an expensive black outfit, looking more like a model than a grieving widow. Vanessa stood next to her, smirking. "It's my father's funeral," I said quietly. "Of course I'm here." "Ah yes, your father," Isabella said with a fake smile, "the genius who chose science over his family. Tell me, Sarah, did he ever invent anything that actually worked, or did he die a failure, just like he lived?" My fists clenched, but I kept my voice calm. "My father was not a failure." "Really?" Vanessa added, flashing her diamond earrings. "Is that why he was living in that gross little lab while we kept the family's reputation alive? Face it, Sarah, he was an embarrassment, just like you." The funeral was hard to sit through. I stayed in the back, watching Isabella fake her grief perfectly. She accepted kind words from wealthy guests with a few tears and practiced smiles. Most of these people hadn't spoken to my dad in years, not since Isabella pushed him out of the spotlight. Then the priest spoke. Chen's widow would like to say a few words." Isabella stepped up to the podium, calm and elegant. "David was a dreamer," she said in a voice full of fake sadness. "Maybe too much of a dreamer. He chose his own ideas over our family, but I suppose he meant well." I wanted to scream. She didn't know the real him. She hadn't seen the passion and belief that drove him every day. After the service, while everyone was leaving, Isabella cornered me by the snack table. "About your father's lab," she said, all emotion gone. "I'm sending a crew tomorrow to clean it out. Anything left will be thrown away." "You can't do that," I said. "That lab was his life's work." "Actually, I can," she replied. "Chen Industries owns the building, and I'm the CEO. He only got to use it because I allowed it, unless you can buy it, which I doubt." She was right. My paycheck barely covered rent. "Didn't think so," she said. "Don't worry, we'll throw everything away with all the respect it deserves." She checked her nails. "Oh, and Sarah, don't come back to the mansion. Now that your father's gone, there's no reason to pretend we're family." I left with tears in my eyes, but I wouldn't let them fall. Instead of going home, I drove straight to Dad's lab. The building looked worn out, but to me, it had always felt more like home than the mansion. I unlocked the door with the key Dad told me to always carry. The smell of metal and chemicals wrapped around me like a hug. Everything was just as he left it, whiteboards covered in equations, screens with complex models, and his leather notebook sitting on the main table. That notebook, he never went anywhere without it. Isabella had always called it his book of failures. I picked it up, hands shaking. The leather was soft, the pages full of notes, diagrams, and stains. A folded letter fell out, addressed to me, in his handwriting. "My dearest Sarah, if you're reading this, something's happened to me. I need you to know everything I worked for was not a waste. The formulas in this notebook, they work. The stabilization sequence is complete, but this is dangerous. There are people who would kill for this. That's why I never told Isabella. It wasn't ready, not yet." I kept reading, shaking harder. The failed experiments were actually the early steps of a carbon capture system, something that could pull harmful gases from the air and turn them into clean energy. If this worked, it would be worth billions, but more importantly, it could save the planet. As I read more, my training kicked in. I understood what I was seeing. Dad had done it. He'd solved the problem that had stumped scientists for decades. He wasn't a failure, he was a genius. Suddenly, I heard a noise outside. Headlights lit up the windows. A car pulled up. Panic hit me. Isabella's people, she said they were coming tomorrow, but they were early. I had to move fast. I saw Dad's laptop on the desk. He always said it held his most important files. I grabbed it, along with the notebook. I scanned the lab. What else would they destroy? Voices outside, keys jingling. I grabbed his external hard drives from a drawer. Then I spotted a small safe under his desk, one I'd never seen before. The combination. What would Dad use? The door handle turned. I tried my birthday, nothing. Mom's birthday, no. Then I remembered the day he first showed me the periodic table. He called it, our special day. Click. Hello? A man's voice called. Chen. Inside the safe was a USB drive with Dad's handwriting, and a stack of papers, patent applications. I grabbed everything and ran to the back door. Dad always kept it unlocked for emergencies. I slipped out just as flashlight beams crossed the lab. I ran to my car parked down the street. As I drove away, I saw men in suits enter the lab with boxes and tools. They weren't cleaning up. They were searching for something. Isabella knew. That night, I didn't go home. I booked a room at a cheap motel under a fake name. I had no idea who was watching me, or what they were capable of. I opened Dad's laptop and started digging through the files. What I found kept me awake all night. James went from being doubtful to completely amazed. Sarah, this is... He stopped, running a hand through his perfectly styled hair. This isn't just impressive. This changes everything. The way this captures carbon is 10 times better than anything out there right now. And the way it turns it into energy. He looked at me, wide-eyed. Your dad really did it. Yes, I said quietly. But that's not all. I showed him the files I had spent all night unlocking. Dad didn't just invent the technology, he also kept detailed proof of how Isabella and Chen Industries had been trying to steal it for the past 5 years. Emails, voice recordings, security footage, he saved everything. She pressured him to give her the patents, I said, pulling up an email chain. When he refused, she started spreading lies about his mental health, cut off his funding, and finally kicked him out of the house. But she never stopped trying to get his work. James gave a low whistle. This is serious. That's corporate theft. He looked at me. So, what do you want me to do? I need funding. Enough to start a new company and develop the technology fast. Maya's already filing the patents in my name. Dad started the paperwork before he died, but we need to act fast, before Isabella figures out what she missed. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a message from 911. Turn on CNBC. Now. James grabbed the remote and turned on the TV. Isabella appeared on the screen, standing at a podium in front of Chen Industries. It is with great pride, she said smoothly, that I announced Chen Industries' breakthrough in carbon capture. My late husband's final project has achieved great success, and we plan to launch it soon. My heart sank. She's pretending it was hers, I whispered. That's why they searched the lab. They're going to try to copy it, James said. His phone beeped. Chen Industries stock was already going up after her announcement. But then I noticed something strange in her speech. She was explaining how the tech worked, and she got it completely wrong. They don't have the real research, I said. They found bits and pieces and are faking it. My phone rang. Dr. Young, I said, answering. I saw the press conference, he said quickly. She's in trouble, Sarah. Chen Industries has been hiding huge financial losses for years. Your father knew. That's why Isabella needed his invention. Without it, the company falls apart. An idea came to me. Dr. J, can you build a research team for me? Give me 48 hours, he said. The next 2 weeks were a whirlwind. While Isabella enjoyed the spotlight, we worked in secret. James got us a hidden lab outside the city. Maya filed all patents through shell companies to avoid being traced. Dr. Young gathered a team of brilliant scientists, many of them were former Chen Industries employees who had been quietly pushed out. But we had a problem. Even though we had Dad's research, we needed proof that Isabella tried to steal it. The old evidence wasn't enough. We needed something recent. That's when Vanessa's greed helped us. She called out of nowhere, her voice overly sweet. Sarah, Honey. I feel awful about the funeral. Let's have lunch, I want to make things right. I knew it was a trap. I said yes anyway. She picked a fancy restaurant full of old money vibes, dark wood, crystal lights. Vanessa was already there in clothes worth more than my entire yearly income. I want to help you, she said, ordering wine. Help me? Yes, of course. I know money must be tight. And I know you took something from your father's lab. Something my mother wants. There it was. If you help us recreate the tech, she's willing to pay 7 figures. I took a slow sip of wine. And if I say no? Vanessa's smile sharpened. Don't make this hard, Sarah. Mom always gets what she wants. She didn't know I was recording everything. That afternoon, I met Maya and played the recording. It's good, she said. But we still need more. We need proof Isabella knows she's lying. Then a quiet voice spoke from the doorway. I can help. It was Lisa, Isabella's assistant. She looked nervous. I've worked for her for 10 years, she said. But this is too far. Claiming Dr. Chen's invention? That's wrong. I have internal emails, memos, and even meeting recordings, where she talks about stealing his research. Maya's eyes lit up. Would you testify? Lisa nodded. Dr. Chen was kind to me. He deserves the truth. Everything was finally coming together. But we had to act fast. Chen Industries had announced a live demo of their fake technology in 1 week. Investors were already lining up. It was time to stop them. You sure about this? James asked as we prepared. There's no turning back. I thought of my dad, working alone in that lab, staying true to his values no matter what it cost him. I'm sure, I said. Let's finish this.